Hey everyone, Nick Engvall here. Before we get into today's episode, I want to tell you about some of the people that make the sneaker history community and this podcast possible. It's more important than ever to think about who you give your money to when you're buying clothing to go with your kicks. Our friends at Guilty Goods started their brand with a goal of giving back, especially to the communities that make sneaker culture possible. With every purchase from Guilty Goods, at least 10% of the proceeds are donated to organizations like Big Brothers and Big Sisters, the Susan G. Komen Foundation, the Movement for Black Lives, and many more. You can save 30% on your order by using the code HISTORY at guiltygoods.us. Again, that's history at guiltygoods.us for 30% off, and you can feel good about your purchase knowing you're supporting a meaningful cause. Sneakers are all about presentation, and if you're like me, displaying your kicks at home or in the office is just as important as when they're on your feet. Sneaker Throne makes sneaker display cases featuring customizable LED lights, drop-side cases to showcase the entire side of the shoe, not just the heel or the toe, the whole shoe. They've also got display cases for trading card collectors and hat collectors. To me, it's the perfect way to display your collection. You can save at least 10% on your Sneaker Throne order by using the code HISTORY at sneakerthrone.com. That's history at sneakerthrone.com. If you're a Patreon supporter or a member of our Discord community, you already know about Kicks with V hot sauce and his small batch, locally sourced hot sauce. V has been one of the biggest supporters of sneaker history and the podcast since the early days. He's currently the defending champion in our community trivia nights competition. Kicks with V hot sauce has been a huge hit with the community. You can save 10% on your order by using the code SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. That's SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. Now, you're probably here because you like sneakers, and if you join the Discord, you know our community is about so much more than that. Whether it's the marathon-like community calls, trivia night debates, the in-person meetups, or just sharing our favorite experiences, we found that although we have such different backgrounds, we all have some unexpected shared passions. Not only does the entire community look out for each other when it comes to releases, we're like a support group for life in general. You can join the Discord community for free by heading to the show notes of this episode. After you're done listening to this episode, tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a simple compliment can take you, and we all know how good it feels to have someone show their appreciation. Now let's get into today's episode.
Jordan trying to shake off Starks. Oh, what a move!
James with no regard for human life. Final seconds. Bryant for the win. Iverson against Gill. The crowd on its feet. Allen for the win.
Welcome to the Sneaker History Podcast.
What up, what up? Welcome back to the Sneaker History Podcast. Hey, before we get into today's episode, I want to tell you about a couple of our partners. These are some of the folks that help us keep the podcast going, and they have some exclusive discounts just for our listeners. If you're a subscriber of our YouTube channel, you already know how I love to display my kicks when I'm not rocking them. My friends at Sneaker Throne make sneaker display cases featuring customizable LED lights, drop-side cases to showcase the entire side of your shoe, not just the heel or the toe. And they just released their new hat throne for those that collect fitteds or snapbacks like myself. To me, it's the perfect way to display your collection, whether it's kicks, hats, or both. You can save 10% on your Sneaker Throne order by using the code HISTORY at sneakerthrone.com. That's history at sneakerthrone.com. Now, if you're a Patreon supporter or a member of our Discord community, you already know about Kicks with V hot sauce and his small batch, locally sourced hot sauce. V has been one of the biggest supporters of the Sneaker History Podcast since the early days, and his hot sauce has been a huge hit with the community. V has 2 new flavors that just dropped, habanero coffee and chipotle ginger. My mouth is actually watering just talking about them. He's giving an exclusive discount to our podcast listeners. The first 50 people to use the code SneakerHistory10 will save 10% on their order from kickswithvhots.com. That's SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. If you're interested in sponsoring the podcast or becoming a partner with the community, get in touch with us. You can reach us by email at podcast@sneakerhistory.com. Or better yet, tell some of your favorite brands they should be sponsoring our podcast. All right, enough business. Let's get into today's episode. What up, what up? Welcome to the Sneaker History Podcast. My name is Nick Engvall. Man, I got the whole crew with me today. We had to align schedules. We had to wait for the planets to align to make all this happen because we needed all 4 of us to be on because this episode is going to be kind of like the season finale, if you will, of 2021. But what's good, fellas? How you guys doing?
It's good, man. I can't complain. I'm happy to be here with the boys, talking about some shoes to cap off the year.
No, absolutely. It's like that Beatles documentary, but I think we're bigger cultural icons. So I'll be gladly to say that the only band that's even more of a cultural phenomenon than us is Migos. So it's Migos, Sneaker History Podcast, Beatles.
there's no fault with that statement at all.
I knew you were going to say Migos too. Like I didn't even have to guess. I'm good. I could have gotten third row back at the Blazer game tonight versus the Spurs for like $250 because they're playing the Spurs without Damian Lillard. So my presence is a present. Hello, everybody.
And on cue, Mike disappeared off camera because he realized, hey, there's a free ticket for a Spurs game. Let me make my way to Portland.
No, in fact, I went to go like just kind of hope that Dame comes back for one game just to beat the Spurs that badly.
They were dirt cheap. That's why I had to ask 2 days ago. It was like, are we sure we're recording Thursday? Because these tickets are like stupid cheap right now.
Basically free.
The Spurs suck. The Blazers suck without Dame. Here we are. No more talk about that. Yeah. Nick, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I feel like it's been forever since we recorded. We've had a lot of challenges and a lot of interesting things happening. But speaking of making your presence a present, we got an excellent review to read today from one of the new members of the Discord who just leveled up any expectations we have for community members.
They're now unreachable.
Now, I was going to say this. Last year, during our year ends, we kind of gave awards out. I think if there's a Rookie of the Year for the Sneaker History Discord, it would have to go to one Ruben Thomas. I'll read the review first, and then we'll get into his credentials of why he's the Rookie of the Year. But it starts off, great podcast. I love this podcast. As someone who started really getting into sneakers fairly recently, these guys are extremely knowledgeable and have friendly auras. I feel like I could grab a beer or lunch with these guys and just hang out. As someone who does his own semi-successful podcast, Nice Flex, I feel inclined to look out for any pod from that standpoint. These guys seem like very genuine friends, so it makes the conversations run naturally. Comparing their first episodes to what it is now is fun because you can tell they've gotten so much better with the conversational flow. The content is great, from in-depth interviews with people from the sneaker community to snake drafts, shoe drafts, to just general sneaker news talk. This pod has a variety of bits, and there's something for everyone. The Discord rules. I'm fairly new, but they're just so dang nice. I hope to jump in on a Zoom call. And my goodness, did this man jump into a Zoom call. Nick, can you give us what he actually did? This beautiful, silly man.
So Ruben Thomas has been, actually it was even crazier. It started before the call, right? Because in the Discord, there was kind of some drama around the shoes showing up in time. He's getting married, all of this stuff. So there's like people like trying to figure out how to help them or help him. And as we're sitting on this call, I don't know, half hour into it or something, he hops on from his wedding reception, like live from the wedding reception dance floor, basically. I'm sure his wifey is in the background, swinging at him, knocking the phone out of his hands. But he was on for a couple minutes. He said hi, introduced himself. Ruben, you're the man. I just am speechless. Yeah.
Hats off.
So
man.
amazing.
Hats off to you.
Seriously.
Ruben.
Now, I just want to know.
I'm a Bio Ruben.
Yeah, exactly. Rabio Bio Ruben. And if I have done my Googling correct, I'll get you a Hefeweizen because I believe his podcast is a two-man weave, which is a Dallas Maverick-centric podcast. So even though Mike is a big San Antonio Spurs fan, I think even he would listen for just that wedding night shout-out from us. So thank you again, Ruben. And more importantly, thank you to all of our listeners. And please remember, if you haven't already, write us a review. It really helps us out.
Yeah, as Mike was saying earlier, I listened to the podcast afterwards to make sure. So Sneaker History did end up on my Spotify year wrap, whatever. So, but
post those people.
If we made the list, make sure and tag us in that post.
Do it.
So where do we want to start? We got a year's worth of kicks to go through.
So the awkwardness begins. We do have a year's worth of kicks to go through. Where do you guys want to start? Favorite shoes, favorite releases? What are you guys thinking, Robbie?
Yeah, wow, what are you guys thinking, Robbie? Okay, I'll start then.
Sir Cop-a-Lot over there.
I like big soles, and I cannot lie. No, I got to start with where I literally put my money where my mouth is this year, and it's with On Running. And I say that because they went public this year. On has this blown up. They were featured as On was the number one recipient of footwear brand of the year from Footwear News, some stuff like that. but I actually bought their stock and it's been doing really well for me. So
Dang.
I literally felt so good about these damn shoes. I was like, I'm going to go literally invest. And it's been a good call so far. This is the Cloud X. I've gone through 3 pairs now. Like I work out in this model literally every day. This is a fresh pair because that round 2 has like mud and stuff in it right now. So I don't want to wear them, but, incredible workout shoes. I'll probably never buy another brand's like athletic brand. Cause I don't consider Under Armour really like a contender in running. I'm sorry. So it's like, there's some brands, it's like, why are you making running shoes? That's like a good running shoe. That's where I'm starting off. You guys can go wherever you want from there. But it's like, I watched the Footwear News thing 2 days ago. I was like, dang, they really are killing it this year for how many brands don't really take off, how many brands throughout the past your entire life collecting hasn't really had an upward trajectory is really cool. So power to them this year.
What category was that for you? What do you consider that shoe? Like your favorite?
This is they're my straight up favorite athletic shoe.
Athletic shoe. Okay.
Trainer, runner, I don't know, water shoe if you want to include that. But I would say running training. Let's start there. Do you guys have a favorite running training? It could be a retro. It doesn't have to be like an actively available running shoe to where you're going to go get the most cutting edge technology. What's your favorite?
I'll go next, I guess. So my favorite trainer of the year, because I got the most use out of this one, is going to be the JJ4s. You guys can see they're kind of gross right now, so I don't even want to like hold them too long, but this shoe really, I get through anything with it, like gym, outdoor stuff, anything though. This thing's probably like the best, like no frill trainer shoe I have ever used, and I really got some use out of it. You guys can clearly tell. So that's my favorite training shoe.
Beautiful. Too bad JJ Watt's legs are done. They look great on yours.
I gotta take it to range, right?
There's
my turn. It's my turn, JJ.
Take my ACL. Now, for me, I have my Pegasus 38 Missouri issued sneakers, and really those are my beaters. So those are what I run in when I decide to run. Those are what I walk in. Those are what I try to do, like 10 burpees in my garage when I really want to feel like I want to have a tasteful montage of my athletic feats in the last week. But nothing too out of the ordinary. There's nothing better than a good pair of Pegasus, and say what you will about it. To me, it's almost gotten a Monarch level of cult-ish behavior associated with it, but the shoe is damn comfortable and it's damn wide, and that's really important for me because my feet are too voluptuous for most Nike training and running models. Nick, how about you?
I mean, I got to go with the shoes that Robbie just picked up for me recently. The Adidas was the
Boston's?
Adios Boston 9s. Yeah. I mean,
nice.
I haven't ventured into the $200 plus range when it comes to running shoes. So, even just, I think this week, Puma and Asics both released their versions, or maybe it's Puma and I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll get into it in a future episode, I'm sure. But it's one of those things where everybody's kind of getting to that cantilever cushioning tech, right? That, the vapor fly vapor percent next last whatever it's called, but
insert name.
I mean, to me, it's just, I haven't spent a lot on sneakers this year, and it's kind of interesting because I probably bought less than 10 pairs of shoes this year, so we'll see what else.
That's beautiful.
That's definitely one of them. It's just a kind of simple runner, but for me, that's kind of what I was looking for, something that's a little updated from what I was wearing. But to Rohit's point, the Pegasus stuff is great. That's what I was running in the Zoom Pegasus, the turbos before, but the foam just kind of ripped on the backside of it. So I just had to let it go and move on to something new.
Nick, you buying less than 10 shoes in 2021 is just making up for all the other years you bought 10 shoes in a month. So,
yeah.
It's honestly
like
10 shoes in a week. Yeah, 10 shoes.
No, I was going to say,
nature is healing.
Yeah.
If we ever get
nature
a gambling sponsorship, that should be one of our prop bets, is the over-under of shoes bought from each one of us. And what's that cumulative total? Over-under 50 and a half.
Yes.
I don't want to see that number.
I don't want to make that. I'm good.
I don't want to see that number.
I'm good. Nick, what's interesting, you bring up a great point once we get off of running training shoes. The field has become so technical, it's almost like you have to charge $200 for your shoe because there's so much R&D into what's being produced, and like you have to kind of keep up with the Joneses. I have to admit the Cloud X being only 140, if you're looking for something that really works and you don't care about having like the most, I guess, literally flashy. When I think of the next percent, it's like Zoom X on top of a plate, on top of another airbag, on top of like a swoop with like a 4%, with like a 4mm drop. And it's just like there's so much going on that like you don't have to spend $220 to get a good shoe, but brands want you to think that you do. The Pegasus, again, probably 120 in a more accurate range, 120, 140, depending on what type of air you get in there. There's a lot of great options that like aren't 220 next percenters. So
for sure,
if you think price is a barrier, there's many other great options. Pegasus is always go on sale, stuff like that.
The Adidas is also
there's actually some really good like Saucony runners that are in the like 120 range right now too. That I'll probably get one of those next.
In the Discord, Nick will post stuff that he sees on eBay where it's like massive sale from like, I think he posted an ASIC one, and I think you just said ASIC, but like a while ago, a super duper like $30 shoes, like good running shoes for like mega cheap. So there's always good stuff out there that won't break an arm and a leg. Let's go.
I think we should jump into I don't want to call it sneaker of the year, but definitely one of the most hyped and buzzworthy and talked about sneakers of the year. What was your guys' favorite dunk?
Oh, that's a good question.
I was telling everybody in the beginning of the year, I was like, I don't need no dunks, man. Like, I really don't need anything. Got 9 pairs now, these new ones. So like, I already have a dunk out. So let's pull it. It's 31 of the 50 Virgil. Rest in peace, Verge. Super sad. It like legitimately bummed out my day. So I impulse bought these. I got on it real quick though, so I didn't have to pay crazy prices. Man. But I was on the fence about it for the past couple of weeks. They weren't selling on Soul Supremacy. Shout out to Soul Supremacy. And I was like, you know what? I saw the news, and like 2 minutes later, the crackhead in me was like, go buy some shoes of his. Go buy some shoes. But just like, it's a normal ass dunk. It's just done a little different. I think that's kind of what he's going to be known for, right? Is having quotation marks over something and writing Virgil was here. It's like not hard to do, but you didn't think of doing it. There's like, that's what I've been like reflecting on. There's so many good ideas we all probably have in our brain that we think are dumb or we talk ourselves out of. And he's like, nah, fuck it, dude. I'm going to like be a DJ. I'm going to go by, I think it's Flat White was his DJ name. He's like, I'm going to go by Flat White. I'm going to put quotation marks on shit. I'm going to go just do whatever I want. Like, I'm going to put my twist on it. And if you don't like it, you're not going to collab on it. Like a Kate Moss Pyrex shirt. That's sick. There's so many like random things. He's like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. So I think
why not?
If that leaves anything, why not Russell Westbrook? It's like, why not make a shoe? Why not put a hole in a dunk and put some extra stuff on it for no reason? Like, why not? Why do you? But why not?
I mean, I think too, like that, like I got to see those in person, and the quality on those was pretty crazy. Like, I was definitely impressed by it. But then, you know, with his passing, I think what really solidified like my appreciation for him, because I like that he has the like just no fucks given attitude, right? But like when he passed, and you get to see all of these people screenshotting texts and DMs and stuff, that man literally reached out to everyone. I mean, knowing that he was battling cancer for the last 2 years and seeing all the people that he was sending positive, encouraging messages to is like, this is why he was successful, because we would never see that type of stuff from all these people unless he passed. Right. But if you know, that's how he was with every other creative, you know, like so many people look and think like, oh, I'm competing because these people do something similar to me. And like, that's not the case at all. Right. Like there's billions of people on the planet. There's room for everybody to do cool shit. And Virgil was like, I'm going to do cool shit. I'm going to lift up my friends, and I'm going to encourage all these other people out here to keep chasing that dream too. And I think, you know, that never came through in a lot of the stuff that we'd been, you know, kind of presented through his collaborations and stuff. You know, like if you follow some of his close friends, you know, people definitely gave him his flowers. But I think it was really interesting to me, you know, kind of like just like the massive amount of people that shared those types of things, and the stories were like that's just so incredibly different for someone that's made it to that level of, creativity and success, to care about some random dude's Instagram account or some random person on Twitter that they're never going to meet in real life, but he was always encouraging in all those messages. And to me, that was just like, damn, like that's why, But
everybody can eat, and that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I didn't feel the same kinship to Virgil Abloh the way a lot of others did, but I thought there was something very noble about the fact that the quote I kept seeing in all these different testimonials and posts about him was the fact that he was very particular about wanting to do things that would prove to the 17-year-old version of him that he thought weren't possible were actually possible. And I do think that that's inspiring. And then you kind of do a little bit more digging, like both of you alluded to, and you realize this is truly an inspirational and aspirational type of guy that truly put the success of others over himself in some degree. And I think that's great. And I hate making the comparison because it's a bittersweet one, but the same way we all kind of felt a certain way when Kobe had passed, like there's a group of kids now that are so into fashion because of Virgil, and you have to kind of look at the silver lining of a death and truly hope that these kids that truly were inspired by him now go on to do the great things that Virgil thought they would be possible to do. So I got to tip my hat to him for that, and I hope he and his family are doing better wherever they may be right now.
Yeah. I mean, with the Off-White stuff, I was always like, the designs themselves were hit and miss for me, just depending on what it was. Like, I love the Jordan 5 that he did, which says a lot for me because I don't really like the Jordan 5 so much. But some of the other things, probably not for me. But at the same time, just seeing what he accomplished from, again, just from architecture school to, Pyrex to other things he's done to becoming, I don't know the exact title, but basically like the head of Louis Vuitton. I mean, just seeing not only someone who is so important to sneaker culture do it, but someone a person of color do it is just unmatched. Like hopefully it inspires people before he passed, but hopefully now that they see how kind he was to the people around him, that they're even more inspired to go take those chances and know that, hey, I don't have to be in competition with you exactly. We can basically get each other there and kind of work that way. So I don't know. Just like you wrote, I didn't have the same exact feeling of those who were close to him, but I will say it was something that really shocked me because I didn't expect it because of the impact he had with sneakers. And I know the prices are going to be wacky right now, but I'm definitely looking for a pair just to have and just say, hey, just put him into the collection because, again, the role he had in sneakers and just kind of the things he meant for the fashion world. So gotta respect the man for everything he did. I got to go with the undefeated 5 on it dunk. I probably talked about the shoe way too much, but it's definitely one of my favorites. Probably one of the best material dunks. And I love the fact that it was easy to get. So thanks, people out there who didn't think this, didn't have any resale value. Made it easy for me. Well, you wrote it. What you got?
For me, it was a two-way tie, so I will pick the shoe that I like, and I hope Nick picks the other one. I went with the Gundam Dunk High. I would take that out, but that's in a unmarked garbage bag somewhere in my garage as we're preparing to move. But my God, it's a beautiful shoe, and the details just make it even more clutch and vibrant to look at. And I don't know how they're going to top that because that is just storytelling executed in the most brilliant way. Nick, how about you?
When did you get that shoe? When did you get? I know you got
he
the
wasn't
model.
there when you had it.
Oh, I got the shoe. So this was silly. The day it dropped on sneakers, or one of the days I thought it dropped on sneakers. I missed out on it, and I was like, "F it!" I really like the shoe. I bit the bullet, did the StockX thing, and was able to get it for $275, which wasn't bad in the grand scheme.
Damn.
Yeah, I wish, dude.
Nice. That's a shock. That's a good shock.
Yeah. And now I look at it, and it's just kind of fluctuating in that 275, 315 range, but it is a breathtaking shoe in the same way that good dunks always are.
I'm going to look that up now. Shit. All right. Continue.
Yeah. All three of those good choices. I mean, I for people that didn't realize like that 5 on it dunk, right? Each one of those was made of 5 different materials too, which I think was a story that didn't get put out there as much as it should have, but that made it that much better. And obviously I would have loved to got the Gundams. That was just a crazy shoe. I tried for Mike in multiple places, but just impossible to get. And to Robbie's point, I would have
probably picked up a pair of those Virgil Dunks if I had seen them in person ahead of time. Because when I got to see them in person, my friend Aaron got a pair. I mean, they're like ridiculously nice. But as far as like my favorite, I think I have to go with the Magnus Walker Dunks. You know, that was a shoe that for me was super personal. And, you know, I mean, in terms of what I would want in a dunk, you know, I'm probably going to wear a low more than a high, and that one doesn't have a liner on it. So it's more of a grungy looking shoe than I would typically go for normally. But because of it being connected to Magnus Walker, Ishod Ware doing that stuff, and him being a car dude as much as he is a skater, you know, that's just like the perfect kind of combination for me. So I gotta take that one with my favorite for the year.
No, I was just going to say that Golf Dunk Low was the second one, so I forgot completely about the Magnus Walker. So I was hoping you'd pick that, but I think the Magnus Walker is probably a better shoe than the Golf Dunk Low.
Yeah, you know, they did a lot of good. SB did a lot of good shoes this year, and
yeah.
Sometimes they go a little crazy, but like, you know, when I started looking at Dunks specifically, like even like the P-Rod, the P-Rods, that's a great shoe that we all probably forget, you know, 6 months after it came out because there's so many other releases.
I was going to say we have to honorable mention that shoe. And my shoe of the year, I don't have in my possession because I don't have that kind of flex. So it's a dunk. So we'll talk later about that. But, a lot of good dunks. Okay, how about your favorite non-Nike Jordan Adidas retro? Or release, not retro, release. Anything that wasn't from the big three, Power 3.
So I don't know when they came out, but I picked up a pair of the Grant Hill Field 2s in the OG colorway.
Nice.
And that was before that. I think they actually did an authentic or a anniversary pair later on in the year, but I would say that the Grant Hill Field 2 in the navy and white.
Nice.
Fire.
Oh, I'll go with the Eric Emanuel question, pearlized Pinto. This is definitely probably my favorite, one of my favorite shoes of all time right now. So definitely favorite non-big three of the year.
I will bridge the gap between Rowett's Navy and Mike's question and hit you with the 4th of July question.
Hey,
these are super simple. There's a lot of, I have a thing, man. I'm very unpatriotic, but Lord knows I love a good navy, white, and red shoe. I almost cannot say no. Most of the time, I cannot say no. But question, fantastic. Patriotism, questionable. Oh,
look at
go ahead, Nick. What's your favorite?
I mean, I'd probably go with a question too, just because obviously my favorite shoe. But I think the like the most recent, like the Pink Toad one, right? Like it's, you know, not quite the Eric Emanuel's, but
yeah,
there was a lot of
Soft
good question colorways. I think the only downside to the question to so many is there's so many of them that you just, you know, you're just not going to end up buying or wearing all of them. The same way that I feel about Jordan 1s and Dunks, to be honest. Like, I don't think you should have any shoe releasing more than, you know, let's say 50 tops in a year. And we'll maybe get into it in another conversation, but you know, if you look at the number of questions that dropped, there's probably in the 60 to 70 range. There's probably, you know, 100 something Dunks or 100 and something Jordan 1s, probably 100. There's probably 200 Dunks if you count SBs and stuff. So it's like, I don't know. You just don't really need that many of a shoe, in my opinion. But I also know that that's the way it is now. There's just massive amounts of stuff being made. So, the other shoe that was just cool to see kind of come back is the New Balance 990 series and the 992. Like there's just a lot of interesting takes on that shoe. I mean, I personally don't think that you really need more than the all gray pair, because that's like the classic, you know, style. But it was interesting to see, you know, I'm trying to think like Para did one, Salehi did one. You know, there was like I think there was a W taps one, a double taps one. You know, just it's cool to see New Balance kind of, I don't know, getting their elbows out in there, right, with all those collaborations, because typically New Balance collabs end up on like very standard stuff, right? I would say like
Concepts, Kith, those types always do New Balance collabs, which reminds me, I probably should say, because the shoe that hasn't shown up yet, but I did get, thanks to some help, was the Salmon Toe Asics Gel Light 5.
You got it.
It's somewhere on my list of best shoes. I don't know where, because I haven't had it in person yet, but I like the Gel Light 5 better than the Gel Light 3. And, to get that colorway, I think that's like one of those really significant historical shoes that kind of like brought attention back to Asics in a way that really they never had. It's not even brought it back. It was like those early Ronnie Fieg shoes introduced people to the brand in a way that just couldn't even happen today with any brand,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to end off that, Ronnie's impact on this general shoes, I would never even look at a pair of Clarks original straight up. And then I didn't buy any, so I didn't put my money where my mouth is. But like, I now look at Clarks and I'm like, oh, those are pretty cool. The Ronnie Clarks are nice. Not for me. What do they call it? A Wallaby, the shoe style.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not a Wallaby guy. So let's go ahead, and I think this year is probably one of the more polarizing years for Michael Jordan. But your favorite Jordan? I have my favorite Jordan here. I can just tell you my favorite Jordan. Do you want to hear my favorite Jordan? Do you want to hear?
Which of the 15?
You wouldn't guess. It's the freaking Thunder. Or no, these are the Lightnings. Thunders are the other ones. Yeah. The Lightnings, man. I wanted this shoe so bad for so long, and to get a retro in hand that's like everything you thought it would be is very nice. It's a good feeling. There's a lot of good retro. I mean, Jordan branded, I think 91 different models like this retros this year. And it's like, that's a lot. These are probably one of the top 4, most people's top 5 of the year, but materials are actually really nice. They've restocked a couple times. So accessibility is there. That was a shoe in high school. It's like, damn, I'm never going to be able to obtain that shoe. And then here we are. Life's good.
Dang. All right. Well, shoot, I actually only picked up 3 Jordans this year, which is very surprising. But one I actually just picked up the other day, it actually beat out the Red Flint, which was actually my favorite. My Red Flint 13 was a favorite Jordan. But this one beat it out, and that's the Electric Green 6. This shoe's, I don't know what it is. I have no cares about the look of the Oregon PE. Just something about this, taking the traditional black makeup that you see in the infrareds and replacing it with that really bright, loud green and putting that milky, translucent outsole. Just, I don't know. It has something special to it to me. And I had never owned a pair of 6s until this year. And now I might be a crack addict for them. So this is my favorite of the year.
Crack addict like a crack addict.
Yeah, man.
I think, Nick, I'll go next. I like, and Mike, I always like how you pronounce the French word that I always struggle with. So it's the Amamanière.
Amamanière?
Amamanière? Numero 3?
Pinky out when you say it.
It's the second one.
Numero 3. Usually I don't go for non-OG 3s, but something about that shoe was just beautifully done, and it was very muted in its color, but that led me to say, hey, this is still a beautifully crafted shoe, as this cat is all over me. And like this cat, I wish that shoe was all over me, but alas, it was one of the pairs I wasn't able to get this year, but who knows, maybe there'll be more Amamanière collaborations in the future.
The one is insane. Nick, you can go, but I'm not really going to talk about the one much more. The one is just as good as the 3. Good stuff this year.
I want that
go
3.
Ahead.
Yeah, they did a great job. I don't know. It's hard to say. I didn't actually pick up a pair of Jordans this year that I can think of, but I think the Gore-Tex, the black and silver Gore-Tex is probably one of my favorites. Like to have a somewhat waterproof Jordan 1 that you could just not worry about and beat up all the time, especially in that color, probably is the one that I would go with. I'm surprised that, like we didn't mention the Union Jordan 4s. I don't know like how you guys feel about them. They definitely grew on me because I like how weird the colors are now, but I still don't think I would ever wear them.
What's super funny about you saying that is I had this thought about 4 or 5 hours ago. Like if Virgil didn't pass, I probably would have bought a Union 4 instead of those Dunks. So I was like right on this fence between the Union and then this. I find, what's the color? It's like the tan with the blue.
The taupe. They call that one. That one's something taupe.
Yeah, it's a good looking shoe. I think there's so many to choose from. It's just like it's hard. Like you're gonna have to leave. The Travis 6 release this year. There's a lot of good stuff. The J Balvin released this year.
Oh, the J Balvin. I forgot all about that one.
Yeah. See, there's so many. Yeah. See, I went strictly what I owned. So, because there's so many out there, it's like, I just didn't have a really good opinion on something if I didn't hold it. So, but
the UNC,
too many.
UNC4.
The UNC4, those I have those too. Those are fantastic. The materials are insane. The UNC1 is really nice too. We talk about how many ones just there are. When it's done right, the UNC one's cool. The Hyper Royal one is also good. I got both those this year. They're both really nice in hand. Like you'll be surprised what's actually good when you're looking for it. But in that same breath,
go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, kind of in that like same vein of like stuff I forgot. Like the Carmines were this year, right?
Yep.
February. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I would have loved to pick up a pair, but
yeah, a lot of them were bad. I've been seeing them for pretty good prices on resale. They're not bad at all.
Shh, don't tell nobody.
I mean, I wanted to pivot that to like one of like what your pick is for like your least favorite shoe or the worst retro release, whatever categorization you want to give to it. And I have to say the Jordan 3 Cool Gray. I wanted that shoe so bad, like the 4. I wanted it so bad. I got it in hand, and it was just so beat. Like the materials were wrong, the shape was wrong. I am not the type of person to gripe about the toe box shape, but one was circle, one was square. The tongues were stitched wrong. It was such a trashy retros where it's like, I probably have acquired 10 Jordans this year. I love Jordans. I'll always love retro products. I don't think anything's ever going to stop there. But the highs are high and the lows are low. Like not only was like, oh, bummer, the shoe sucks, I'll just return it. That happens all the time. But like when you want something for a really long time, like literally middle school and high school, I was like, I want this shoe in high school so bad. But back in the day, it's like a $500 shoe. It's like to an OG in 2008, you're just not acquiring that shoe. And I finally had the chance, and it was awful. So expectations
versus reality.
Yeah, man, versus reality, man. It was so bad. Like, oh, fuck. But Mike, it made me think about it. Mike brought up the pink midsole Carmines. Like, you're going to buy the damn shoes whether or not, and they know it. And
really, I don't care.
Myself included, I'll still keep buying the damn shoes. I bought these Amam Eniers. I didn't even want them. I tried to get them for Keith, and Keith's like, I'm already good. I got a pair. I'm like, well, I guess I'll keep them. So it's like, oh no, I bought these Jordans. I'm going to keep them. I love Jordans. It's like, I love them, but like, you don't love your spouse all the time. Like, you mess up sometimes, Mike.
Put the seat down, Robbie.
Yeah.
Put the seat down.
Mike, you didn't cut the crust off.
How's my family eating in my house right now?
Nick, diversify your taxes, Nick.
Diversify your portfolio.
Yeah, taxes.
But so, yeah, what's your letdown or least favorites, or what didn't hit for you this year?
I think my biggest letdown was really the trophy room Jordan 1. Like, just not having.
Forgot about that one.
I don't know a single person that got a pair. I don't know, like I don't know a single person that like got one without paying resale for it.
Like, yeah,
and
retail. I don't see
the story itself was really cool, and I thought, oh, this would be really cool. I'm not one to like really care about trophy room and that, like I don't think they're like, that successful of a store if you remove the fact that, Marcus is Michael's son. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It's just like they've had their challenges, right? And then when they get these opportunities and you just kind of see all the resellers in Florida, just like, 20, 30, 40, 50 pairs on their sites, it's just disappointing. And I don't think that everybody should have access to every shoe. I think, playing the game is part of the thing that keeps us all interested in a lot of ways. Although, like, if Jordan Brand tomorrow was like, let's just make 100,000 of everything, I wouldn't care. Like, I'd still like what I like,
but that particular shoe was, it just seemed really like a perfect story. It seemed like the quality was great on it. And, I was excited for at least the chance to get it. And then it was like, it just didn't exist. Right. Like,
it's a beautiful shoe. Yeah. It sucks. You can't get it.
Yeah. I think probably my most disappointing would probably be the neutral gray at the 85 highs. They didn't have the same crazy story as the trophy rooms, but those 85 cuts, they make it such limited quantities, and it's such a basic shoe that it's just hard to get. I mean, the lows are easy to get, but the highs are kind of where it was at, and that's what I tried for. And the resale prices were just outrageous for a white shoe. So I think that's probably my most disappointing, not because of the quality, but the fact that it was just that hard to get, and it was nothing attached to it. It was like no collaboration, no nothing. It was just a white and gray Jordan 1.
Remind me, and I may be overstepping my bounds with this, but was this also the year where we tried to do Nike By You dunks, and when we tried to do them, the quantities were very less, as well as it wouldn't allow you to do certain pattern matching on the actual design itself? So for me, just you give us the possibility, you open the door, but then you realize I can't fully open the door. And that for me made me realize I don't want to buy this shoe until I get these things. And maybe I'm asking a lot and we'll never get that opportunity to customize dunks the way we did. But I'll also use that as a segue to say some of the dunks that were released this year, I know that was almost a common talking point in one of our episodes, was the fact that the dunk quality was variable, to say the least, to be as considerate as we possibly can, but also highlight that there is a consistency of quality in terms of that shoe's production. So,
yeah, the Nike By You thing it's like letting a kid into a candy store and then like having all the big signage when you walk into the store and then getting in there and it's like, oh, there's 4 pieces of candy on the wall.
You cannot dip this in peanut butter. Why not?
Can't do it. It looks too much like this one. Don't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I also think that like, that part of the sneaker world should just be, that should just exist at this point, right? There's plenty of customizers out there that are making one-off colorways for people. Why wouldn't Nike just take that business and make it an official thing by opening that up? But that's a conversation for another time. I will say the quality scale going from like, garbage all the way to, unimaginable. It's like, I mean, Robbie got a pair of dunks that was literally like the left foot was sewn to a right sole. Like, that was such a weird shoe to me, where you're like how does that even happen?
I still wear them all the time, though. and they know they're my UNLVs. They've gone so
Robbie's
got
got 2 left feet.
No, they were definitely. They look like they're not beautifully made shoes, but I still wear it. Like, honestly, the sneakerhead in me is like, well, I'm going to double wear these now. They're already beat. Like, I double wear them. I wear them all the time. Like, I was looking, I had to put them back in the box a couple of days ago. And you look at the bottom of your shoe as you put it in the box. Like, I should probably clean this before I put this in this box. Like, what the fuck was I doing? Like,
everything.
Yeah, there's some stuff in the bottom of that shoe. But on the material, like, the UNLV will be that bad. But I just got the Street Hawker. And I bought it because I saw my friend's pair. And I was like, I need that shoe. Like, the materials are so good on it. Like, if the material is done right, you will literally salivate if you're really into shoes. Doesn't matter if it's super hype or if it's, a Puma, a random ass $50 Puma. Like, if it's done right, it's done right. And when it's not and you expect it to be done right, it sucks. And when it's done right and you can't get it, that double sucks, because then you've like hyped yourself and like you're DQ'd from the race before it even starts. It's like those you've seen the videos of like the dirt bike people and the gate falls and they get stuck in the gate and they don't even. That's like Nick trying to get the trophy rooms. He's stuck in the gate and they never.
Stuck. He couldn't even get the bike. He was still back there somewhere trying to find his bike. They took it from him.
Yeah.
Man, I was thinking of that meme of the guy yelling at the cat. Be like, I'm gonna let you out.
Yeah.
So I mean, let's pivot that to something happier. So not the release of the year or the best release of the year, but literally the best release of the year. And what I mean by that, I'll go by my first one. I had no issues acquiring this undefeated Air Force One. I should have had no issues acquiring this Air Force One. I acquired 2 out of the 3 Air Force Ones with 0 effort. I go to undefeated.com. I do the little capture thing. I check out. It was fucking beautiful. Like, the other pair, I walk into Bait, they're there. fantastic. There was enough of these shoes in both, and I guess all the colorways for the most part, if Mike could get them on a good resale. But I was able to go to undefeated.com on release day, type in my shit, and walk away with the shoe I came there to get. So I consider that like the best buy of the year because it was what I wanted, it's what I expected, and I got it. Nice.
Very nice.
See, mine is going to be the Bape Superstar. Typically, anytime Bape did anything, they fly off the shelves, resales $400 off the bat. So the fact that it was that easy just to get these and got them for retail, I'm like, I can't be mad at that. This is the first Bape anything I've ever had. So decent quality, easy to get. I mean, was not to be happy about that. So that's my, I think, best release of the year.
I'll go next. For me, this was the year that, as we were kind of hopefully getting out of the pandemic, I thought maybe I'll go outside and start shooting some hoop again, because that's one of those secret joys as the winter turns to spring in Portland. Like, you can pull up to any decent outdoor court and just kind of get lost in the therapy of shooting your shot, literally. And in that regard, the Cosmic Unity, I mean, we were kind of hit hard with that marketing blitz of how sustainable it was and how it's a shoe of the future. And usually, as is the case, anytime Nike overhypes something, I'm resigning myself to saying, okay, how much over actual retail price am I going to pay for this? But they had enough stock for all of us that I think, Mike, you got a pair of Cosmic Unities in probably one of the more underrated sagas of the year, where you got it, but then you didn't get it, but you actually did get it. So I'll let you kind of... For free. Thank you. And yeah, I think it's exactly that. To Robbie's criteria, it was an easy purchase. There was no gray hair, and I was ultimately very happy. I didn't go outside and shoot basketball, but I got the pair that hypothetically I would do that activity in.
For me, it would be the neighborhood undefeated ZX 8000. So the black and gum and the white and gum. I mean, they're still available now. I'm just glad they made enough to make it easy. I mean, I'll probably actually double up on both of them at some point. Hopefully they go on sale and I can get them for cheaper. But that'd definitely be the kind of the easiest pickup for me. One of the things I was wondering about too, like we don't really talk about them as much anymore, or I guess we don't really talk about them as much as maybe we should, but both like Pharrell and Kanye released a lot of good shoes this year. So
tons.
For me, like, I think I still kind of wish I would have picked up that orange Human Race before the new, I forget the name of the new shoe that Pharrell is doing.
Ciccone?
Ciccone,
That's
something like
one,
that.
Yeah.
Chicharrones?
No, wrong food.
Yeah. But that would be my like favorite Pharrell release of the year, the orange NMD, Human Race NMD. And then I really wish, like, I still can't get myself to buy Yeezys, but if I was going to, the Cream 700 V2? Yeah, 700 V2.
Yep.
That shoe is beautiful, man. Like, I wish it was made by somebody other than Kanye.
That's a clean shoe, man. And with the Pharrell stuff, I'm right there with you. With some more things that came out before that were a little bit more accessible, I was able to get the NERD 20th anniversary pair for In Search Of. So, and I got them for retail as well. So, I wish there were more of them before they switched over, because the latest they just dropped were those BBC and ice cream inspired ones that are they would make like 5 pairs basically.
Nick, you've got to dive into the waters of Lake Minnetonka and buy a pair of Yeezys, man. They're fucking comfortable. So I know you're a man about the business. So you want something you can take on and off and leave by the door. You can leave a pair of Yeezys, given your dog doesn't eat them. You can leave them there and they'll be comfortable to slide on and off all day. So what's like your best come up of the year? I just had mine, so I'll start. But what's like your best deal or come up, or deal or come up? That's the phrasing we're using. And mine, actually, I sent you guys the screenshot right away earlier this week. I really wanted those fucking Street Hawkers, and I wasn't paying $550. Like, average selling price was like $550, $580 on StockX. I put the low ball offer at $375, and I'm like, someone come down here and meet me in the cellar. And someone came down and met me in the cellar. And God, cellar has like 2 different meanings there. I meant the cellar, like a wine cellar.
That's a.
And then a
I was
cellar
hoping
met
you'd
me
go
in the
triple
cellar.
entendre.
Damn. Yeah, right. No, I don't want to go all the way there.
Yeah.
But great materials. I actually bought. It's super funny. I bought a print off of Eat Like You're on Death Row, and that's when I really got aggressive with buying that shoe. It's like I bought the print. I really want this shoe. I kept like I saw it. I bought a print. And I'm like, well, no, I'm doing it. Like, I want these. And somebody came and met me at my lowball offer. So that was my deal of the year. Still overpriced, but I mean, I'm happy. I'm really happy. There's not very many shoes I've bought recently with my own money where I'm like legitimately like, yeah, I got them.
I'll go next. For me, this is one that it was a steal of a deal, not only for the price point that I got it, given the exclusivity of the shoe, but also the story that it tells. This is, I guess, a local shoe. This is the Adidas ZX 5000 Dead Stock Coffee. It's a shoe that's a source of great civic pride because for Robbie and for myself, our dear friend Ian is the proprietor of Dead Stock Coffee, this local coffee shop in Portland that kind of serves as this hub or this nexus for all the goings on in our culture, in our city. And the fact that he's been rewarded with not only a shoe at Nike when he had I believe the streetwear, the janitorial dunk, but now he's got a shoe that commemorates his coffee shop, his true labor of love. And the fact that there's only 150 of them made. And I was fortunate enough to hit online because if you tried to get it at the actual coffee shop, you could see that line going all the way down, and it wasn't even worth it for me. I saw Robbie in the line braving the elements because that's just the high caliber of gentleman that he is. But yeah, shout out to Ian, shout out to Adidas for making that come true because it proved to me you don't have to be a superstar, you don't have to be an athlete, you don't have to be a musician. You can just be a man about the people and still inspire somebody to make a shoe after you. So kudos, Ian. Kudos, Adidas.
Nice,
I gotta
dude.
give myself the pat on the back. That's how I'm a real sneakerhead. I just went to go try to buy them to literally just support. I was like, oh, we don't have a 12 anymore. I literally just got out of line. Like, I'm not gonna go buy somebody else's other because Rowett's size already got called out too. So I'm like, well, can't get anything for either one of us, and they don't make Nick's size. And then Mike didn't want a pair, so I was like, well, if someone else is gonna be happy, I'm just gonna literally get out of line. Like, so I tried to support him.
You do.
I still got the knife. There's tons of other stuff. I have so much dead stock merch in my house that it's funny.
Same. Every time I go to Dead Stock, I inevitably end up with one other article, whether it be a sticker, a mug, or a T-shirt. And my wife is like, "Are you supporting Ian as much as you're supporting me?" Because I feel that there's a discrepancy in support there. But we got to look out for our friend.
I want to visit that shop one day. I need to come out there.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the better releases of the year. It was gone before. I mean, I would be able to squeeze a 12 maybe on that, but I'm sure they will never hit the retail market.
Well, shoot, I guess I'll go with my steal of the year, best deal, come up, whatever you want to call it. But it was the Kiss of Death Air Max 1. This shoe was so back in the day when it came out originally, was it 2001? It was just like, oh my God, this shoe. 2021 comes around, people could give two craps about it. Apparently, got this thing for like $115, and I mean, I've been wearing it a lot. I love this shoe. Not wearing it now because it's like getting cooler outside, but best believe when the spring comes back around, I'm gonna have the fun socks out again.
Mike, you're not wearing them right now because they're in your hands, buddy.
Huh? No, my God. All right, move on. Next, you ain't got kids, you can't do dad joke. Get out of here.
They're in your hands, champ.
This guy.
Come up of the year. I mean, I didn't buy enough stuff, but when Mike made his video about the Adidas Azalea or whatever it is, Iggy.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Rob.
I have to blame him because I actually did buy a pair of those, but I found like a 30% off coupon code that worked, so they ended up being like 60 something bucks. So
that's a heck of a
if it's sub 75, baby, it's free.
Not true, but I like your thought process.
I wish.
Sneakerhead logic.
It's like that's like one of those things where I know you guys probably do this too, but like any money that's like in PayPal or Venmo doesn't count as real money. That's just like it's free to spend on anything.
Yeah, my GOAT money when I sell stuff that's not real money. I can do whatever I want with that.
You can't withdraw to make it real money and do whatever you want.
As long as I don't ever withdraw it, it's not real. As long as I keep flipping it back into shoes, it's fake money. It's like Monopoly money.
Silly money.
All right, so I think we got to do it, right?
Sneaker of the year.
What's your sneaker of the year?
All right. Who's going to go first?
Me.
Set the bar.
The Supreme fucking dunks. All of them. The brown, the lime green, the blue, the black.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen enough friends locally wearing them. And I'm like, bro, why you got to flex on me that hard? I'm like wetting my pants. I didn't wear any Depends here. But like when you see them, and like I haven't had enough chances to see the OG highs in person. So I assume that if you transported me back to 2003, 2002. Yeah, 2002 was the lows. 2003 was the high, right? And 2003 was the high.
Sounds right. Those
pristine, like the first time seeing those shoes must have been so magical. And in 2021, seeing that shoe in person, my friends, particularly in the black pairs, it's so simple, but it's also just so supreme. Like the overlays, the quarter panels look so good. The stars look so good. Everything looks so buttery and perfect. And it's just
tune into the season premiere when Robbie will have that shoe because
for real,
Sir Coppolat has got everything.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if those are required by New Year's. Because no, man, I think about him all the time. Like I only bought all that Virgil stuff because he died, and I'm just like I felt really bad.
Oh my god!
I didn't feel bad because of like him passing. Well, I felt bad because of him passing. Not like he's gonna get money from me when he's dead, but like
just momentum.
No, it's an impulse buy. I felt some kind of way. I was like, no, I'm buying all these things. But if that didn't happen, I would have probably just bought the Supreme Dunk by now. But yeah, any four of them. The lime green one's my favorite, but it's the most expensive. It's like $1,300 in a 12. But it's just so that's the most Supreme shit ever. A lime green star fake Tiffany print dunk. Like it's so fire. It's so you got to see it in person. Once you see him in person, you're like, I get it. But like the trophy rooms, you're never going to see that. I don't know one person who bought that shoe that doesn't work at Nike. Caveat. Because everybody who's I've seen them wearing them, they got them for retail or half off from work. So they don't
half
care.
Off?
Yeah.
I got the wrong job.
Yeah, you do. We all have the wrong jobs. But yeah, man, that shoe in person. Shout out to Rico. I got in an argument with Rico at like 6:45 in the morning. He woke me up angry. He's like, the Ama Meunier is ugly. And I'm like, bro, you haven't even seen it in person. And he's like, I don't need to see it in person. It's ugly. And I'm like, there's been one time in your life you've seen a shoe in person and it's changed your mind. And he's like, no. And then like 2 hours later, he's like, all right, there's two shoes. So like the Supreme Dunk is one of those shoes. You're like, oh, that shoe's overpriced. It's stupid. It's Supreme, yada, yada, yada. Just stare at it for like 15 minutes on foot. Sit next to somebody with them on and you'll be like, damn.
I'd like to give my time to Robbie because I feel like this monologue can only get better, and I really have nothing.
Right? Just like,
I have nothing to contribute. No. So, Robbie, please take the time. I was just going to say, quick honorable mention. I really like the Travis Scott Fragment 1 lows, but I'm never going to see those. So,
nope, never going to see
the closest I'm going to see is the shade of blue that Mike's wearing in that sweatshirt, and yeah, that's about it. But yeah, no, Robbie, please continue because that was beautiful.
No, that's really the end of the rant. It's just like, yeah, man, there's some shoe in your life, be it the best shoe of the year or whatnot, you see it in person and you're like, damn, I get it. So
yeah. So I have a contender that I own, but I know the actual shoe of the year. So the contender I think is the Pata Air Max 1. I love this shoe. But I think the Ama Meunier 3 may end up being the sneaker of the year. It's just a good looking freaking shoe. I wish I tried like 20 different ways to get it. No luck. I think I even have my wife in there too to see if she can get a pair. I don't care who gets it. I just want to see the shoe and no luck at all. So, but I think that's definitely might take the prize.
I mean, I already mentioned my shoe of the year, the Neighborhood Adidas ZX8000. I mean, I've worn that shoe probably 150 days this year, and
dang.
It's just like it's become a go-to. I mean, it's like basically like almost like a, carbon fiber weave type of finish, black gum, the zipper on the tongue. It's like two of my favorite brands collaborating, or I mean, really three if you throw Adidas in there. But like, to me, it was just like, it's like one of the, I feel like another like element of being a sneakerhead, kind of like to your point about when you get a shoe and you're just obsessed with it. Like when you just know, like
this shoe is just like basically meant for you, right? Like this is like, they were literally like drawing pictures of me in their art boards, 2.5 years ago when they started the process. Cause they're like, this is the guy that buys all the fucking neighborhood undefeated black shit anyway. We'll just make it and we'll put a gum bottom on it. He'll probably buy 5 pairs. I feel like that's like, they literally probably have that. Like if you look back at the storyboards, it's probably a dude with a Giants hat on, even just because they're like, we already saw it post all this stuff on Instagram. But yeah, that shoe for me is just next level. Like I said, I want to get a couple more pairs of it.
There's a size 10 that was $150, and I never knew about the shoe, and I'm almost contemplating getting it because of how beautiful that shoe is now. So thank you. I'll buy 2 Adidas shoes to end the year. 2 Dieter.
That was a good episode, though.
Yeah,
what's your shoe of the year, listener? Why don't you go ahead and drop us a comment and let us know?
Please, we love this engagement from our consumers. No, I think it is a year of the end. Please, we really appreciate you guys. We do this show for you guys and occasionally for us so we can make each other giggle, whether it be through freeze frame or through actual things that we say. But it goes without saying, you guys are our life force. So the more you listen to us, the more we give you shows. So if you stop listening, we'll still probably make shows, but it'll just be for the 4 of us.
Just don't do it.
No, I mean, it's been a blast talking with you guys. It's been a blast to meet people and have them join the Discord and like really get to know them. And, seeing people do meetups and stuff too. Like it's been amazing. I do think that, the last 2+ years of doing this podcast, we haven't really taken any breaks. So this is going to be kind of the first time we actually take a few weeks off and actually, some of us will just hang out with family. Some of us will probably be on a yacht someplace, buying
Robbie.
Expensive shoes. Robbie.
Robbie,
What do you
I
say,
think
Sir
you're very
Coppola?
affluent. That's what I got out of this episode.
Very affluent human being.
No, I mean,
No, it's a
taste of
it has been really awesome though.
On a serious note, thank you to all the brand partners throughout the year for helping keep me laced. I did buy a lot of shit, but also thank you for the stuff I didn't buy. It's much deeper than that. It doesn't matter about getting stuff for free, but just thank you.
We still appreciate the
it.
gesture. So I have to second that thought. So you guys thought enough about us to include us in whatever list it is to send people things. So we appreciate you.
Yeah, most definitely. And looking forward to continuing those relationships and meeting new people both in the community and on the brand side. And hopefully, I've said this in kind of the ad roll or whatever, the B-rolls, the ad roll. I've said this in the ad spots before, but if you're listening to this and enjoy listening to us, make each other laugh, let us know who should be sponsoring the podcast, because that's something that I'm really going to focus on in 2022 is to, make this something that we can do more of and kind of improve the quality and hopefully use it to do some more cool shit for the community. So it makes more sense for me to get introductions and hear from people and, get introduced to brands from the people that are listening that actually care than to go find people that are just willing to spend money. So
facts.
That's the end of my rant, but it's been awesome as always. Guess last time of the year, guys, let them know where they can find you, how they can connect with you.
Find me here all the time, the Sneaker History, but of course you find me on Instagram and Twitter at MattWatcher789, and of course on YouTube at Mike Guillory. Guys, we're almost 300 episodes, by the way, so when we come back, we're gonna be creeping up on that milestone. So just so everybody knows.
So what are you saying, Mike? Shirtless episodes in the style of 300 the movie?
Shirtless with baby oil. That's how we're going.
You can find me shirtless on baby oil in my OnlyFans account at RHBEE. No, that's not it. You can find me on Twitter at Roheezy, on Instagram at RoadM13, and usually in Robbie's mentions whenever he posts cool shit.
All I have is Crisco. I don't have any baby oil. Sorry.
It's fine. You smoke a French fries. Okay.
Freedom fries.
Right, Freedom Fries. Make sure you're following at Sneaker History, and you can find me at RAHBEE702. What about you, Nicholas?
You can find me. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was giving it to you. I was passing the rock, and you took it. It's like in basketball when someone's trying to make a pass and someone is intercepted in a layup. It's like, oh, shit.
Robbie just gave you the behind the elbow, and Rafe LaFrentz over there just fumbled the bag.
Yeah, I pulled a Rafe LaFrentz. Hey, thanks for supporting us. You can follow me at Nick Engvall, and like Robbie said, more importantly, just follow at Sneaker History. We got some new stuff coming in the new year that we'll share in the coming weeks. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. We're gonna kind of branch off and do some more cool shit outside of the world of sneakers, but stuff that I think will be fun for everybody that's listening too. So thanks for rocking with us for the year. We'll catch you next year. Peace.
Peace. Happy holidays. Whatever y'all do.
Hey everyone, this is Nick again. Before you take off, do us a solid and head over to Apple Podcasts to leave us a review. Give us a rating on Spotify and Amazon Music, and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because we have even more video content coming soon. Speaking of new content, we have an amazing community of sneaker enthusiasts that hang out in our Sneaker History Discord on a daily basis. While sneakers is a connection point that brought us all together, we've all discovered countless shared passions that we have in common with each other. We recently launched a couple of new podcasts directly from our community. One of them is a Formula One podcast. If you're an F1 fan like me, the Exhaust Notes podcast is your weekly fix of Formula One fun. It's hosted by myself, Rohit Malhotra, and Todd Yates. New episodes drop every Tuesday. I've been wearing fitted hats for years and collecting my favorite teams since I was a little leaguer. It has been awesome to see so many new fans getting into fitteds in recent years. Crown and Stitch is our new talk show about fitted hats with Dexter, Keith, and myself, where we talk about fitted hats, snapbacks, throw in some obscure hats because we all kind of like some funky stuff once in a while, don't we? Copping, collecting, and so much more. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Hit the links in the show notes for this episode to give our new shows a listen, and be on the lookout for more new podcasts dropping soon. Last but not least, tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a simple compliment can take you, and we all know how good it feels to have someone show their appreciation. Thank you all for the support, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.